This is your July 24 soul story if you have a sun rising or moon in the sign. I hope my reading is going to give you some insights that might be beneficial for you as you navigate through the next few weeks. It's Romy here. Welcome to the channel. We are opening up your reading with the cardinal energy of the Emperor. This feels good for you as we move into Cancer season, and we're activating that fourth house of stability and security. It's often said during this time that we almost need to be the one that will inner parent ourselves through any situation, and you may well be finding that you're looking externally for the support, the nurturing, the guidance, the counsel, and it might be a little thin on the ground, and so there's almost a requirement for you to have to reflect inwardly because something new is emerging, and it's only really you that can come to terms with what that is. And it's like you're getting glimpses of the future, and that might be translating in terms of feelings that you're having. And that also asks you to dive beneath some of the more frenetic things that might be going on at the surface so that you can give yourself time to just be. Because the Emperor is gathering your energy, your focus, and your attention to ensure that the plans that you are now cultivating, the strategy, if you like, that you are putting in place for yourself and what's being shown to you is coming through in a way that actually feels, in spite of this Cancerian water energy, it actually feels more robust, it feels more doable, it feels like something that you understand. And even though there's an unknown component to it, I think this month of July is really quite refreshing in terms of what it's highlighting and revealing to you. Now, at the beginning of the month, Neptune stations retrograde in Pisces. What this does is sort of act as like a kind of stripping back situation. So, sometimes our expectations we realize haven't been met. Sometimes the dreams, aspirations, things that we've been holding on to feel like they've dissolved or the bubbles burst with regards to something. But then we're given this reality check. And when we've got the Emperor stepping forth, it's almost like you're ready and intentional about wanting to take control, take back control with regards to something. And inherently, it's like what you're working with. And I think that's really important. It's sort of being able to see the jewels that have been left behind. So even though to a certain degree it may feel like the sands are shifting beneath your feet a little bit, you're showing up as being incredibly capable in the first part of July. Now, the new moon in Cancer arrives on the 5th, and it tells me that you may also be coming into contact, have some interesting conversations with people that have a lot of clout. They definitely have some influence, some power, some authority, if you like. Now, that may well trigger your own inner authority, but in a way that helps you to sort of rise up and say, yes, like I know what I need to do, or yes, I do feel I'm capable of that. So it could feel like there's a bit of a stretch or a bit of a gap, but someone is going to be coming along to either reflect, to mirror, to trigger, and to help you, in all honesty, regardless of how you might perceive it in the moment, to actually step up and become more, because the universe is sort of gearing you up. Now, at the same time, we're also sort of slowing it down at this, at this moment. So many more planets are shifting retrograde, and this inner reflection requires a certain degree of grace and flow, of alignment and focused self-awareness. We've got the Four of Water, always a very meditative card. Sometimes it can bring about some feelings of ambivalence or apathy. You might well be coming up against that from other people, or you yourself might find it quite difficult to sustain the focus and the energy. The Emperor, though, as that major arcana, has far more weightedness in your reading. I think this 4 is about just allowing yourself to sort of move through the experiences of the emotional wave when it hits you, but also understand that, in honouring those emotions, but not becoming attached or defined by them, you're going to be able to return much more quickly through the month of July to this Emperor archetype, and that's going to be super helpful in just sorting and getting things done and prepared in a way that's going to be beneficial. Now, as I said, slowing it down matters. Part of the reason that's important is there may feel like there's some sort of offer, invitation, and it feels like a shiny distraction. It feels like something that's a bit of a red herring and could lead you off down not a negative path. It's not like it's anything that's harmful or not good for you, but it simply could just be like a waste of time, a waste of your time. And honestly, at this particular moment in the year, as you are moving through this transitionary kind of reset, every moment counts. And you know, you want to feel, particularly through the month of July, that even if you don't have an awful lot of resources, energy, time, finances, you know, if there's a finite amount of something, you want to make it count. You know, you might be in this season taking some time out, it might be holiday time for you, respite. And so, you know, it's almost like the amount that needs to get done is squeezed. You know, it just feels like there's limitations that are coming in and around that. So this distraction, this shiny sort of offer that I feel could be making its way towards you in that first part of the month, and you'll feel it, right? You'll feel the sort of, okay, this is really attractive to me. It feels like it's got all the hallmarks of something that I've been asking for, or it would just be fun to go and experiment and explore. But there's something in your gut just telling you, don't do it. So I want you to just listen to that. And, you know, I would always advocate and say that no experience is ever wrong. There isn't right or wrong. There's just different pathways that we take. And that said, you know, I think that there's something about you being in a place in July where you want to be making some powerful decisions about your life and about things that are going on for you. And your energy is going to be directed to where your attention is. And if it is off down this kind of side road or somewhere that ends up being unhelpful for you, it's just going to feel like more of a rush to get back to where you need to be, because this isn't a surprise to me. We've got judgment coming through. Okay, this is where I'm saying that there's some sort of major choice or crossroads moment that we're arriving at. Something is shifting in your world, and I think you've been aware of it. And you know, this is a time where you have to kind of love yourself, not shame yourself into the changes that you know you now have to make. It would be easy to get critical about, well, I should be further on, and if I hadn't done this, or if this hadn't happened, or maybe I don't have what it takes yet to be able to put myself in that position. But look, the Emperor is telling me that we have all that we need to be able to take this on at this exact time. You're being given enough of this balance between working with the current resources that you have, getting these glimpses of the future in order to architect a strategy that will serve you. Now, Pallas Athena, asteroid goddess, shifting direct in Scorpio on the 9th of the month, that's super helpful for you. She comes along with her wisdom to support us in the new plans. In Scorpio, a fixed sign, there's an intentionality towards going the distance and actually uncovering all of the details and all of the more uncomfortable aspects of what it's going to take, and actually just really facing up to that. So I see a huge amount of facing up to things, notably coming inwardly first and foremost, especially in 4th house, and that also could be centered very much close to home, connected into family dynamics. There may be situations playing out with parents or with partners. There's certainly this feeling that roles may be reversed. You may find yourself being the one that's having to take on a motherly or a fatherly role in some way, shape or form. But you have to have the courage right now to also move into the unknown and understand that any particular phase that you might be in at this moment is also not permanent. That judgment is saying, and there's also the knowing and the trust that's emerging here from High Priestess, is showing up in a way that says, like, you do understand that like everything is shifting beneath you and around you, and there's going to come a moment, and it's going to come very soon, where you're going to have to make that leap and make that jump for yourself. Now remember, Aries, calmness supports powerful decisions. Okay, so how do we encourage your energy to come in a more graceful way, in a more aligned way? There's always a door to access, whether we're in an energy of frustration or impatience or emotional discord. There's a door through and a door to access something different for ourselves. High Priestess is saying, let's tap into all of the things that we've learned in our own spiritual practices. What are the tools and techniques? What is the mindfulness? What is the connection, the communion that you have with your higher self, with your guides, with your counselors, your mentors, your coaches, that are going to be supportive for you in this moment? It's quite a significant month of the year for you. Now, we're also going to be, of course, approaching the second full moon in Capricorn. What kicked off in June 21st, right around that solstice energy, is now having its kind of second act as we arrive at that energy in July. So something revealed, you've played with the possibility of it, you've sat with it, you've been contained within it, enveloped by the energy of it this last few weeks, and now there's something that wants to bring a resolution and a full and firm release energy in regards to that as well. Now, what will also help you, I think, through the month of July is that we have both Venus shifting into Leo on the 11th and Mars into Gemini on the 20th. Now, fire and air working much more supportively with you perhaps than the water energy of Cancer, and this brings like a passion, a charm, a flirtatiousness, and can bring about an ability for you to be able to engineer and get yourself exactly where you need to be, get in front of people you need to be talking to, get to the places that are going to be right for you to open new doors of opportunity, help you to move on, and just discover something different. It feels quite adventurous when we've got that Chariot showing up. And there's a lot from a kind of perspective of one-to-one relationships being brought forth in a more I want to say like it's like there's more of an understanding. We're putting our heart on the line more. The gestures that we make are more significant, they're more bold, they're more courageous. And I think that also helps to move something forward and drive something forward, especially if you've been feeling something has been very stuck. Now, I would say that even though that can kick off mid-month, it's almost when the sun shifts into Leo on the 22nd, as we come out of that full moon energy, that you're much more likely to see the progress and the momentum start to return to something. Remember, with the Chariot, the two horses are different colours, so we can have very opposing views. We can have this sort of almost opposites attract. We can understand that we work with both the light and the shadow of ourselves, of others, of the situations that we're a part of, and still then, be able to move and progress. It's not going to be something that hinders you, but it does mean that you have to hold space for the differences, for the polarity, understanding almost the contradictory nature of some of the things that you're going to be feeling or that are going to be presented to you. It's almost like someone's going to say to you, I really love you, I want to be with you, but I can't do this. So you're sat with that and you're going, well, how do I resolve that? How do I work with this? Or somebody saying, I want you on my team, there's a place for you here, but I've got no budget for you. So it's like, right, okay, do I then just give up, or do I hold space for that contradiction and continue to keep focused on what my vision is? That's something that I really want you to sit with and contemplate, because it will be very powerful for you as you come to a place of deeper knowing and trust, and these powerful choices and decisions that are arriving for you. These are major arcanas that are sort of dominating your reading for the month of July. Now, let's also be mindful as we make our way toward the end of the month. Mercury stations into Virgo on the 25th, and the next day Chiron in your sign is going to take its backward spin. So that retrograde cycle will remind us of our healing journey, things we've been continuing to work on ourselves, hitting you very acutely, the soft underbelly being exposed once again, and sort of almost wondering, you know, I've come full circle, has anything really changed? That's why I'm saying be careful you don't get too critical. We have to love, not shame ourselves into the changes. You are so much further on than you think you are. Page of Fire says keep open, keep honest with yourself, enthusiastic and ready to have the conversations that are going to continue to motivate and spark you, and I think inspire you to want to overcome, to move forward. And again, it just feels to me like you're really aware. There's an incredible sense of focused self-awareness for you in this month of July, Aries. That means, you know, I can understand the truth of this aspect of my life being not in the order that it needs to be right now, but at the same time that won't stop me. I have to keep forging ahead, but I'm going to do it in a more slow, considered, mindful, thoughtful way, because there's so many things that are emerging right now that I need to pay attention to that could make a difference of how I now deploy the strategy, if you like, that's going to serve me and help me to be authentically me. And I think that's where you start to see the real differences that you can make for yourself in your own pathway in this month of July. I like the energy of it. You know, I think you get in tune and in touch with your own emotions, and you understand the wave that other people are on. That makes for a much more understood exchange, if you like. So even if you have to kind of momentarily, temporarily sort of take a different path to someone, you almost know you're going to meet again, or you're going to come back around to something. And perhaps at that moment, you'll both be in a place that's going to be even more supportive of the visions that you're holding coming through in the right way, okay? But you really need to trust yourself in that. That's where your High Priestess is speaking loudly to you. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we look at in the extended version of my reading. We talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll also look at a personal and a relationship card for you. It's a way to support my channel so that I can keep showing up for the free readings, so I really appreciate your investment there. You can find the link below. I'm going to just go ahead and clarify these cards and see the direction we'll take that reading for you. So the Emperor comes through with the Empress, yes, of course, and the 8 of Wands, beautiful. Okay, what about this 4 of Water, 4 of Pentacles? I like the 4 energies showing up for you. They are bringing a degree of balance and stability. Knight of Pentacles. All of the decks I use are always listed below, and you can also check out my website, please, if you're new, romywiser.com. You're going to find my sacred titles over there, my book Moon Musings, also my oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, and ways to work with me, including all my sacred soul support, beautiful guided soul journeys to help you in your spiritual practices. Okay. Another major of the Star and the Lovers showing up for you. I think, you know, there's a sort of rootedness that I like that is somewhat surprising through Cancer energy, but nonetheless, I think this is because you're kind of going deeper than that sort of frenetic, shallow sort of surface level, and the depth is actually enabling you to access something deeper within yourself this month. That translates, by the way, really well if you're trying to bring in a sort of physical, tangible manifestation on something, you know, especially in terms of your sense of security. But I think there's a boldness that's going to be needed in order to sort of make the leap, take the jump, create the bridge from where you are to where you're meant to be. Vortex of Boundless Grace we have. This is Life Soul Vision, my own deck. We've got the Wishing Tree, beautiful. Queen of Water, that's 2 queens working with the element of water showing up for you. That's why I'm saying you've just got this capacity to be really emotionally tuned in with yourself and others. Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadows. We've got the Collective Heart and Solar Plexus energy. Okay, we're going to do one more oracle for Aries for the month of July. What do we have here? got the energy of financial health for you. There you go. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you'll join me for the extended. Have a beautiful month of July. I'm going to see you again next time.